spoiler-free, real quick talk about this.
Yeah,
How did you feel about Spectre?
Spoiler-free thoughts. I think watch this movie.
It's worth a watch.
It's not even just worth a watch. If you're gonna watch them all, you have. This movie is integral to the next one.
Okay.
And
all right.
yeah, they're very connected.
But honestly, it's not a bad movie.
You need to watch this movie.
It's not a bad movie by any
means. It is not a bad movie.
It's not on a Skyfall level.
It is one you want to watch, and you will be engaged the whole time, and it looks very nice. But the only issue for it is the third act blows the whole thing.
It does.
But other than that, you're going to enjoy it. Yeah. I think. I enjoyed it because there's a lot of good build-up. But anyway, I would say watch it. Definitely watch it if you're going to see the new one. It's pretty good.
All right, so
I think it's overhated. I think it's an overhated movie.
Yeah. Again,
so not spoilers.
Spoilers. And
for everything.
One more thing real quick. Make sure you guys are, subscribing.
Yes.
Following.
Come on, guys.
Whatever.
Come on, guys. We're putting
we're shooting for
blood, sweat, and tears into sitting here and talking in chairs for an hour.
For an hour. No, but in all seriousness, I'm shooting for. I want to try and get us at least to 50 subscribers on YouTube by the end of the year.
15 or 50?
50.
Okay.
50. Let's try and push.
That's shooting for the stars.
Yeah, shooting for the stars right now. We're at 9, so we're trying to bring this up.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Just if you like what you see.
Yeah.
Do your thing.
So, anyways, yeah.
Spectre,
so right off the
let me
bat,
get my notes.
Right off the bat, we started with the Bond bullet chamber, just boom, and this movie starts.
I actually do. I think a lot of people dislike how back and forth it is in the Craig movies, but I kind of like it.
Yeah,
I kind of like that it's different every time, and you don't know what to expect. You don't know how they're going to open the movie. OG bullet intro, and then the dead or alive, and that doesn't really end up. All that plays into is like the Day of the Dead thing, but it doesn't play anything else, But it is still a really cool intro.
Yeah,
if it had connected to something, I would have been like, damn, that's really cool.
Yep. So we have
Mexico City.
Yep. And then you have these two people walking up.
By the way, this is not a thing. Mexico City does not celebrate Day of the Dead.
Yeah.
And then this movie came out, and they were like, that looks really fun. And they've done it ever since.
That's funny.
Which is, really fucking cool.
I didn't know that.
So this is maybe my favorite part of this whole fucking movie is just this. It's like a 4 or 5 minute pseudo one take.
Yes.
All the way. And because at first I was like, I didn't even notice at first, and I was like, wait, have we cut yet? And I was like, oh my god, it hasn't cut yet. And I was like, this is amazing the way they do it.
Yeah, he goes up, and you're thinking, is that Bond? Because you can see the blue eyes through the mask, and then you're like, oh, this is Bond.
Yeah.
He gets up there, and he takes the mask off. He's having this romantic moment. It does like the theme and like.
And you think he's undressing, and it cuts, and it goes to her, and then it swivels back. And he's like,
where are you going?
She's like, what? I'll be back.
Yeah, she's like, where are you going? He's like, oh, I'll be back real quick.
Yep.
And he has
smoothly
this
steps through that window.
Extremely suave walk.
Dude, I'm thinking
extremely confidently cocky suave walk.
It's like a classic Bond thing. Like the way he's walking and holding the gun.
He's getting his gun prepped. He jumps rooftop to rooftop. Just little quick steps over to the rooftop.
So casual, man.
And
in the
suit. He hides behind this thing. Yep. And he hides behind like this thing. And he has like a sound.
We need to point out here that I found out. I watched after I watched the new movie. I went back and watched. They just released a documentary about all the movies and his time as Bond. And he mentioned during this movie, and specifically during this scene, he broke his leg during this movie. And, and they were like, it's going to be like 9 months recovery time, or you can just like put this like thing on it and just fucking suffer through it to film the rest of the movie. And he chose to do that. So as he's walking on this roof, which he really was on that rooftop, by the way. The only thing that was holding was like one single cable that they removed. And he's like, he talks about it that his leg was giving out because of it. It was broken. Like during this time of shooting, he was like, please don't give out on me. Like it was terrifying. He makes it look so suave, but his leg could have given out. He could have gone over the edge at any time.
Damn, I didn't know that.
I'm like, wow, that's. I mean, he's committed to it.
Yeah.
And throughout the whole,
that makes that scene even better.
The whole movie, like his leg is broken. All the shit that he's doing, he's just. The fight scene on the train, his leg is broken.
Jesus.
Crazy. So, huge respect to Daniel Craig for doing that. Like, that's some crazy Tom Cruise, blow your, just fucking,
Dude,
good stuff.
Good for him.
To continue to do that stuff.
But so, he has like this listening devices into the conversation, and then he's about to take the shot, and right when he's about to take the shot, the
glare of his lens, like, gives him away.
And so he kills the one guy, he kills the other guy gets away.
Something explodes. He shoots something.
He goes to shoot. Okay, so the guy hides behind a suitcase, and he goes to shoot through the suitcase, not realizing there's a fucking bomb in there clearly, and he shoots it, and boom, shit blows up.
Beautiful.
The building cracks, falls over. We have an Uncharted moment. He's outrunning the building, boom, it
and
crashes.
Then he just decides to turn around and slide down instead.
Yeah, and he's it's funny because he makes like a face like what am I doing? And like he just decides to slide down instead. Like he's like, why am I trying to climb? He slides down. And then rocks start to hit, and he fucking jumps on this little ledge. Again, very Uncharted moment.
Yep.
The rock gives away, and he lands on a couch.
sofa.
On a
and
couch.
he's like, oh, that's nice.
Like, right,
yeah,
okay. So
I
he
love that.
steps out. It's amazing. It's a very Uncharted moment. He steps out, and
then,
there's the guy he was chasing.
And initially, by the way, this was supposed to be much more of like a heavy foot chase, but they had to change it because he couldn't run.
Yeah.
But I actually like it this way. The way he's like weaving in and out of the crowd, and like he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to blow his cover. It's great.
Amazing. It's way better. I liked it.
Even Daniel Craig was like, "Yeah, I think this turned out better. I'm glad we did it that way."
Yeah.
Just
they
blessings in disguise.
The guy's like trying to stay incognito. He's on his phone. And I think he's making a call for the helicopter. I'm pretty sure that's what he's doing.
Probably.
And the Bond's following him. And then they have like a moment where they both pause and just stare at each other.
Yeah.
And then boom, the guy takes off or whatever.
And then the chopper like lands in the middle of this massive fucking crowd, by the way.
Yeah.
And Bond just jumps straight in with him. And
then he knocks the guy out. He grabs somebody's like stick. He hits the guy. The
biggest problem with this is for me, it's a good like opening set piece, but the biggest problem with it is that he's just like, we are over a crowd of 600 million people or whatever bullshit. And then he's like, pilot, fuck you, fuck you. He's like beating the shit out of the pilot.
So the one thing I wrote is they're not quick cuts, but I don't care for how much it kept switching the camera either. That did bug the shit out of me. I was like, okay, you're taking away from the scene because like you had them fighting, and then it's like, quick, let's cut to the camera on the outside of the fucking helicopter. And it's like, oh, but let's switch to this angle. And then it's like, okay, back to the fight. Okay, back to the outside. It's like, can you fucking settle down,
but you
please?
can tell what's going on.
You can tell
follow
what's going on.
You can follow it. It's not
it.
Quantum of Solace.
It's not that you can't follow it, but I hate how much it switches up the camera. Especially since I do kind of like what's going on in the helicopter. Like, dude, it's like this tense, like, and it's like
beating the shit out of the pilot.
Fuck this guy. He's like, we can all die right now.
He's in the middle of a fight with the other guy, and he's like, you know what? Let's just roll the dice, see if I kill 100,000 people.
It's so true though. He's just
what are you doing?
Yeah, he's like,
what purpose does this serve to knock the pilot out? All that does is either crash you and kill 100 people, or like there's not. What's gonna happen?
I just picture him being like, man, fuck this guy. He's like, hey, you looking at his face? He's like, fuck you.
He's just like, oh, you're part of the same group.
yeah. Like he literally makes it a point to hit the fucking pilot, and then at one point like they end up in the front, and the pilot's like hitting him, and then so he starts hitting the pilot back, and like the fucking helicopter's like, and even the crowd's like, like, dude, it's like one of those.
Yeah, they all start freaking out.
It's like one of those. It's so fucking. It's just so weird.
He knocks the guy out of the chopper, and like as he knocks him out, he pulls the ring off of him, which was cool. And then he takes care of the pilot and pulls up last second. Very, very Bond thing to do. And then he holds the ring, and it zooms into the ring, into the opening, which is cool. Yes, I like that. And then
I liked this intro. I did. I actually believe it or not, like this intro more than Skyfall's. Except for the weird tentacle love stuff. That was like somebody was getting fucked by a tentacle. I don't know what you're saying. But except for the weird tentacle thing, but it does fit the film very well, obviously. You know,
so
it's very cool.
The song
intro
by Christ, what is his name?
I don't know who does it, but it's so good.
Sam. His name is also Sam. I want to say his name is Sam Mendes, but it's not Sam Mendes. It's something else. It's like somebody Sam something. Sam. That's his name. Whatever. He does the song.
I like the intro.
People hate this song. People hate this intro. People hate this song.
I like this intro.
I think the song is good. It's not as good as Skyfall, the first one.
Yeah.
But it's a good song, and it matches the tone of this film.
Very much matches the tone.
It's a very somber, like depressing opening.
Yes.
And the visuals could have been a lot better.
They could have been better.
A lot better.
I still like.
Like there's elements that are really cool. I'm like, oh, that's dope, and then it'll cut over to just like a woman with some tentacles on her. Yeah, I'm like, okay,
that tentacle woman.
Like I get the idea, but I don't really like. Obviously, it's Spectre and all the women he's been with, but it's like the visuals just didn't blow me away like they did in some of the other
of course I know, no.
So that takes it down for me. So for this one, still got Casino Royale, Skyfall, Spectre, Quantum of Solace for me.
I definitely like. Yeah, no, that's about right. No, for me, Skyfall, Casino Royale, Spectre. Actually, it's funny because I actually don't like it better than Casino Royale. Casino Royale is too good.
Casino Royale, dude. It just feels so classic.
Actually, thinking back, you're right. Yeah,
it feels so classic.
Casino Royale,
and
Skyfall. It does. It feels very classic, very Bond, very Bondish.
In this weird little piece of trivia here, in this intro, you know how at some point it's like shattering the glass and there's different eyes in the glass. Yeah. Only one, not a pair of eyes, not just one of those eyes, is Karen Gillan's eye.
Why?
You know who that is?
Yeah. That's just one shot.
It's just she's one of the eyes.
Why? Is there a reason behind it?
No clue. I can't remember exactly, but I think she was like Nebula.
Nebula, yes.
In Marvel movies, but
Yeah.
I was like, I can't remember exactly what it was. She like had auditioned or wanted to be a part of it or something. I can't remember what it was, but one of her eyes is in that opening sequence. That's why I don't know. So weird. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, why? But yeah, she just like, here, have my eye for this opening sequence. I got you.
Yeah.
And then Sam Mendes again is the director. I was like, that actually blew me away. I was like, what the hell? Like, he came back. And then I was watching the documentary as well later. I was like watching some behind the scenes, and like the way he's talking about it and the way they're talking about it, they're like, yeah, we kind of had to like convince him to come back because he was like, apparently he was like, I did it so well, I don't want to fuck it up.
I mean, I don't think he fucked it up. I don't think he
kind of fucked it up.
It's not. No, I don't think he fucked it up because a fuck up would be Quantum of Solace.
I mean, I guess, but
he
took the story. He took the story that he started in Skyfall and just kind of tanked it.
Okay. Man, I don't
in the third act. In the third act, he tanked
it definitely takes a dip, but I still don't think he tanked it. I don't see this movie as a failure. I don't.
No, it's not a failure. I think it's a good movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
So we get Andrew Scott, my boy. God, I love this man. Have you seen Sherlock? You haven't seen Sherlock.
Yeah,
you have seen Sherlock.
Yeah.
So he plays Moriarty in that. Got it. I could kiss that man and his evil hairline. And he's named Max Debbie. I just wrote that down. So
I just put him as Max.
He is so I don't know why they didn't try to hide it more, but he's so clearly fucking evil.
Yes.
And then they try to treat it as a twist at the end. You're like, no, this guy has been evil from the very beginning.
The twist in the end is what fails this movie. In all honesty, everything gets. Well,
like, let's get there.
Hold on, wait. Here's my problem. Okay, we'll get there, but everything is so ham-fisted in, dude. Like it's just fucking like just beat into you. We're just like, okay, we know where this is going. Past this. Anyways, we get to it. Mallory doesn't take any shit, by the way.
Yeah.
He's just like,
fuck you,
Bond, get your shit together, bro.
Yeah,
like,
do it.
Yeah, so
he's like, because they're mad at him for going off on his own and doing whatever he did in Mexico.
So Mallory's just like, bro, you just gave him a reason to basically be like, fuck 007.
Yeah, and Moneypenny's there as well.
Yeah.
And he invites her back to his place.
Yeah.
And he shows her that M left him a message, which I actually love this element of it because it's such a thing that would happen.
Yeah.
Like, of course she would have some
final mission for him.
Random thing that she would tell him or like leave a message for him. It makes perfect sense to me.
He kept her ugly dog statue. It's on his fucking table.
On the table.
He gets a package. And again, here's where I start talking about, obviously, this is going to be some kind of lead up to some fucking bullshit where it's thrown down your fucking throat. He's looking through his pictures. And in this picture, you have clearly it was him, his father figure, and then a burnt out picture. Yeah. You're just like, wow, I wonder who this could be.
Yeah.
Like, you know it's going to lead somewhere. They don't make a big deal out of it. He just quickly glances at the picture and moves it off.
Yeah.
He's not like, ooh, I wonder who this is. No, but you already know, obviously. If you're some kind of moviegoer or somebody who watches movies, you know this is going to lead somewhere.
Yeah. So they're driving through, and they drive past the old blown-up headquarters again.
Yeah.
And they go into this new underground section with Q, and he gets injected with smart blood.
Yep. Nanotech. It gets put into him so they can read his vitals, read where he's at all times. Mm-hmm. Which is kind of dumb because he already has that, does he not?
No, he had the tracker in Casino Royale. It was a regular tracker, and Lashif took it out of him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because they had to interrogate him.
You're right, because they had to interrogate him. You're right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, so they did something else, and they had this new improved version where it can't be removed. It's his blood.
It's his blood.
But then, it's not really a spoiler, but I just want to say, I guess we'll just talk about it now. It's so weird. In the new movie, they're like, we have smart blood for you so we can track wherever you go. And I'm like, how did it, what? Where did it go? Like, did he drain all the blood out of him? Yeah, like, what the hell? Like, how does that work? Where did it go from the last one? I'm like, what the fuck? But anyway, I don't know. Maybe it's like a 48-hour smart blood. Who knows? So, new car that he's like, this one's for 009, not for you.
Oh, my God. Q is such a blue-balling fuck. He said...
He takes it anyway.
He opens it, and he's like, yeah, this was meant for you, but it's going to 009. He's like, I got this watch for you, though.
Yeah. So...
He has... But no, wait, hold on. I do want to go over a couple moments while we're in here. We have that really awkward laugh from Q.
Yeah.
Where he's like, that car's taking a little bit longer to put together than, you would expect it. Yeah. Like, he does like that.
No, he makes some joke.
Yeah, he makes a terrible joke.
Say, man? It was so good. It was so funny, but he says it, nobody else laughs.
Yeah, nobody else is like, it's just awkward. But,
I was like, I thought it was good.
Yeah, and then, he negotiates. He negotiates with
48 hours.
Yeah, he's like, Bond, I have a house and cats to take care of. He's like, well, yeah. He's like, well, if you want those cats to live, basically, like,
Yeah. And he was like, I can give you 24 hours. And he's like
48 hours?
48 hours. Yeah. Sometimes it'll have technical difficulties.
Yeah. And so,
then get shit on 009. He immediately steals it.
Steals the fucking car.
And then he literally is like, 009's here to get it. And Q's like, Q goes down to get it. And he's like, oh, of course. Yeah, of course he did. I wonder who, I would love to see who 009 is who gets shit on. That
could have been a nice little, like, funny, just random actor somewhere. They should have done that.
Yeah, it's some, like, huge fucking actor. They
should have, dude.
So we're in Rome.
Yes, and he's at the funeral.
Bond seems to, like, he's looking at the woman, right? And he seems to realize, like, he sees the back of, I believe it's Oberhauser's head.
Yeah.
But he seems to, like, know, like, because you see, like, Bond's focus switches from her to him.
Yeah.
Even though nothing is happening, he just, like, seems to know. Probably because he grew up with him. Now I realize. So he probably, like, vaguely recognized the back of his head. He's like, that looks familiar.
Yeah.
Now that makes sense, actually, now that I think about it. So that's cool. James stops her murder. She's about to be killed. Because she's like a loose end, I guess.
Yeah. He has a conversation with the wife.
They fuck real quick, and it's like this is the real issue. It's like you're deep in it, like major shit is going on.
Yeah.
She tells you what you need to know, and then you still stop for like 30 minutes to fuck.
Yeah.
And
he hits it.
Yeah.
Hard. Sorry, I like saying it. I just like saying it.
Anyway,
he hits that ass.
And then I wrote like Casino Royale clearly like.
Oh wait, you skipped over his. Oh, she's like Mr. He's like Bond. Like, that's important, bro. That's a big fucking Bond thing.
Yeah, but
he seduces her and questions her on the same thing. I just want to make sure we note that.
But that's the thing is like I wrote this again goes to show like from here on out, Casino Royale was unique in the way that it handled the women.
Yeah,
and I missed that. I thought that was so nice the way they did it in that movie. And then
so I put he doesn't miss his chance to dick somebody down. I had to, bro. I'm thinking of every lame thing that I can say in terms of like basically him smacking.
I mean, I wish he would dig me down, but that's not the point.
He if he has a chance, he's gonna do it.
He goes somewhere into that meeting, and he goes up on the side, and they're talking, but
he's being set up. Clearly, he's being set up because he does like they're sitting. It's funny, we're not on the camera anymore, but he's sitting there, and like the guy's like speaking to him. By the way, I don't know if when you watch this, when they were talking in another language, did you have subtitles for what they were saying?
Yeah.
I fucking sure as shit didn't. I'm so fucking mad, bro.
Who?
Anytime anybody spoke in a different language, there was no subtitles. Fuck you, YouTube. I don't know what the fuck that was. But it's you don't have Google Play anymore. Like that's where I rent my movies from.
That's
Google
weird.
Play, but they didn't have the subtitles. So anytime anybody spoke in a different language, I have no idea what they were saying.
You should just start using Prime.
It was kind of good though. It was kind of good though. I kind of liked it did that because it left me like. If I was...
Well, that means you didn't know... Did it not subtitle what Bond said to get in?
No.
So he goes... The guy goes... What does he say? He's like, who are you? And he's like, I'm fucking Mickey Mouse. Look, who do you think? And then he shows him the ring. That's like a huge thing because there's a callback later because the guy runs out. What does he say? And because when they catch him... And he's about to try to escape. The guy's like, "Oh, look, Mickey Mouse again." You missed that. That's great.
No, that
was a great part.
Yeah.
He's like, "I'm fucking Mickey Mouse. Who do you think?"
I bet you if I turn on the captions though, it'll be there. I guarantee.
Yeah, for sure. But anyway, it doesn't matter. They're just talking about random, organization bullshit. Yeah, they're like, "We're doing this and we're infiltrating that." It doesn't really matter. And then, they bring him in. Oh my god, dude, the way that he is brought in and introduced, it's fucking. Art.
Who are we talking about? We're talking about Oberhauser? Or are we
yes,
talking about,
dude. The way that he's like
whatever the fuck his name is.
The tension and the
build up.
The build up for him.
Instantly quiet.
And the way he says almost nothing the whole time until finally he starts talking. He's like, "Welcome, James."
Yeah, he has a conversation with these people. It like barely.
Well, he barely talks, but he shows up and then he's like, "Continue."
What ends up happening is they're like, "Oh, we have to have this person killed, the pale white or whatever.
Pale King.
Yeah, Pale King.
And they're like, who's gonna do it? We have to have somebody replace the guy who just died.
And they're like, oh, are you trying to challenge his spot? And then fucking Batista's character, Drax or whatever the fuck, I can't remember his name. It's Hanks.
His name is
Thank
Hanks.
you. Hank shows up and he fucking beats the shit out of that one guy.
You must hate it though, right?
Why?
Did you not make a note of it? It's a silent neck snap.
Oh, I know. I did.
Yeah, completely silent.
I hate it, bro.
I mean,
I don't understand why I don't like those. I think it's because we've grown up with such a custom
You need the crack.
Yeah, I think it's because we've grown up with such a custom, like, where you crack somebody's neck, it's like, right?
Yeah,
it's like, or like some kind of, and then he literally just Snaps his neck. He rips his fucking, not even rips his eye, he fucking squishes
And then you
his
see
eyes.
he has the metal thumbnails.
the metal thumbnails. And then quiet neck snap. And I hated it.
Yeah.
I did. Absolutely. I was like,
I don't know why you couldn't just leave it at the eyes.
I was like, why did this guy just fall over?
I feel like you don't need to snap his neck. I think you got him already.
Yeah, like,
you know?
it's
Anyway,
dumb,
he's dead. Hanks is the new guy.
And then there's an invisible spot in the chair because he's remaining incredibly still. We can't see. I'm sorry. I had to say it. But no, and I'll say it's just like, so he sits there and like, you have like this fucking presence just there.
It's masterful.
It's good.
That's the word I was looking for. Masterful the way that he's introduced.
That setup around that table is beautiful. I love it.
Constantly in shadow, and then you get to the point where when he looks at James.
Yeah. And he's like, it's the way he even does it. It's so good because he's like, you know, this all makes sense now.
At first, he's talking to James, and you don't realize it yet, and neither does James because he's not looking at him.
Yeah, he's like, this all makes sense. He's like, this and that, and he's like, but it's about time it finally happens. He's like, welcome, James Bond, and he looks over, and then, Bond's like.
But the best part is the foreshadowing or whatever. When you see him turn, it covers up. Yes, the shadows still cover the eye that gets fucked.
Yes.
I'm like, oh, that's great.
By the way, I do like that look later. I don't know. They made it look really good with the makeup. It looks
so you awesome. Know, right? I didn't know this.
I do know this. The villain?
Yeah.
Yes.
You've known who he was, how big he is, how big of a deal it was.
It's funny, right? Because they don't say the name right away, but they have the little hints in there. I don't want to get ahead. We'll get to it.
Apparently, from what I understand in the videos I watched, everybody who knew Bond knew who it was.
I know who it was.
Even when he was cast, they were like, "Oh, he's Blofeld."
I actually did not know.
That's what people say, apparently, who are like Bond fans.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have known.
I didn't know that, right? I started to put it together in the interrogation scene. That's when it really hit me because he had the cat and he had the...
Oh, of course,
all that. So that's when I was like, we're going with, you know, like, I actually didn't fully know the name. I was like, I know the name. And it's funny because I said Blowfish at first, and I was like, no, that's not. But it's funny because you can get away with that because there would be a Bond name villain, bro. You got fucking Octopussy, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
But I'm like, who the fuck is this? I'm like, I know. It's a villain. I'm like, I'm picturing with a scar and shit. I'm like, maybe it's not the same villain. I was like, oh, but the cat. But whatever. Anyways.
Yes.
Back to where we were. It does hit me. It's funny because he does get scarred later. I was like, oh, I fucking knew it. I was like, I knew.
I put as well. Okay, so he escapes, right? You know,
yeah.
He does. He starts driving away, and Hinks comes after him. And so he calls Moneypenny. He's like, look up a guy named Franz Oberhauser, see what happened to him or whatever. And she's sleeping, and he's like, somebody else there or whatever.
Real quick, actually, this chase scene is not your typical chase scene.
It's kind of lame.
It is, but I think it's meant to be like that on purpose because at this point, it's not even that it's lame. I think it's meant to be like this on purpose because we're not focusing on the oh my god he's getting chased scene. It's not. That's not the focus. The focus of it is he's literally feeding information to Moneypenny. He's so calm about everything. Both of them. At this point, it's just like, well, I've been on a million car chases. He's literally just he's taking the turns with ease. And I know they could have set it up better.
No, I'm gonna shut the whole thing. I appreciate trying to look for that, but the director literally was like, I was watching behind the scenes, like, we are about to make the most action-packed, crazy chase scene through night. We've got these insane cars. Let's do it. I saw it and I was like, oh no.
It wasn't a good chase.
Didn't work, dude.
No, it wasn't a good chase scene.
Yeah.
Even the ending where it was supposed to be awesome, where he ejects out of the car, gets launched out, and the car gets like thing. How did nobody see that, right? Like, everybody's like, oh my god, look at the
do
car.
see it.
No.
Oh, you mean Hinks?
Yeah.
Hinks is not a fucking Lambo. He can't. Do you know the field of view on those things?
I get it, right? But it's just like,
I believe that he wouldn't have seen it, and the other guys, you know, like somebody literally sees him drop down.
I'm saying everybody that's looking in the water didn't see him in the air because they're all like,
I'm wondering,
my god, there's an accident. Is everybody okay?
I'm wondering how high it ejected. Like,
yeah, how high did he eject?
It must have ejected really high, really fast.
For him to be able to turn on the fucking parachute. But
anyway, she tells him like, oh, the Pale King is Mr. White. And he's like, oh, Mr. White, of course. I'm a fucking idiot.
I hate this, though. Like,
what?
Because she's like, oh, you know, the last place that you fucking... Doesn't matter. Keep moving.
Okay. Well, anyway, he ejects. And I love, of course, you gotta love the way he just smoothly drops down.
Yeah.
And he's like, good evening, or whatever, as he walks by.
Oh, wait. One thing we did, Bond kind of gets his... he gets his karma, like, fucked because he stole this car, right? And he goes to shoot a gun at one point, and it's like... No ammo. Like,
oh yeah, he tries every switch and it's all like
nothing's
bullshit.
Working. Yeah,
and then he clicks on one and it's like the music that 009 listens to. And he's like, God, shut this shit off.
It's so funny that
everything fucks him at every turn.
Honestly, this car chase was not that good. It didn't work out that well. You got the flame scene, which was should have been
a lot better.
It could have been a lot better. They fucked that up for sure, especially coming out of Skyfall, like with some of those scenes. Anyways.
So we get a little intercut again with Q, and you realize like how much he's risking.
Yes.
Because M's like, if you're lying to me or whatever, you're fucked. Like, I'm gonna fuck you
and then
up.
like I wrote at this point I had wrote like if this is leading into some like Bond family member, I'm not gonna like this because this is too tropey. Like
Bond family member.
yeah, like okay.
Oh,
so
like
there's a
from
picture and
Skyfall or
happened.
something.
No, I'm saying like oh, this is somebody he grew up with, but I was thinking like it was actually legit gonna be his brother.
Yeah. Well, okay, so we're in Austria.
Yeah.
And he goes in
Q
that
covers
house.
for Bond, and then.
And he finds the secret, like, hidden thing in the house and goes down, and it's
out,
Mr. White,
and you find out
he
he's dying.
looks like shit.
Yeah, you find out he's dying.
Holy fuck, he looks like shit.
And then it's funny because Bond's like, "Oh, did you grow conscious all of a sudden?" And he's like, "No."
Yes.
He's like, "It's not that he grew conscious." He's like, we've always been around." He's like, "But when you're killing the women and the children,"
He's like, "There's a line that even I won't cross." Yes.
He's like, he doesn't like that.
This is another one, like, so the whole, up until the third act of this movie, everything is so phenomenal because it's building and you don't know what it is.
Yes.
And just, it's when you find out what it is that ruins it. But
it's not that it fully ruins it. It's just, it makes it kind of dumb. It's not that it does ruin it.
Well, no, it doesn't ruin the rest of the movie for me. Like, I'll still watch this and be like, oh, this is so great. This is so well done. I'm just saying, like, it's just shitty. It's just a shitty reveal and no one likes it.
Yeah.
But everything that he says here and how tense this scene is, and he's like, my daughter, and she's like, I can protect your daughter, and he's like, okay, she's over here.
Yeah.
Go find her, and she can help you do this. And then he's like,
you have my word. He puts his gun down.
You're a kite dancing in a hurricane, Mr.
Oh,
Bond.
Oh,
Jesus, the way he says it too.
He takes fucking. Bond's
he's like, this is my word. Yeah, he kills himself.
He kills himself. And
farewell,
like,
Mr. Bond, or whatever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh shit, like okay, and it's funny because you would think Bond, he's killed many people, right? And even Bond's like he looks away. He doesn't sit there and watches it. Like he looks away like shit. He doesn't try to stop him, but he looks away.
Yep.
And then we have Mallory and C, and they're having a conversation. He's like, "Oh, the 00 program is a fossil." He's like, "I'll have you know." I think this is when he tells him, he's like, you know, I talked with the secretary or whatever, and you know, he's like, the first thing he's gonna do is no. I think this is too early. This is when they're doing the first votes, and then Mallory explains to him how a license to kill works. He's like, just because you have a license to kill doesn't mean you're gonna fucking kill somebody. He's like, you know, the way that works is you have a license to kill, but it makes you kill less.
I thought that was a conversation that happened in their offices, though.
Yeah, because they walk up to it. They literally go from the vote, and then it cuts to them in the office, and they're having a conversation in the office. Maybe, I promise you.
I guess so. We cut to this gorgeous mountaintop facility where Madeline is staying.
Don't skip over the fact that, what's his name again? Hanks,
yeah.
Yeah, he walks into where Mr. White's
and he's tracking him. You can see
and literally, I'm like, my first thought was like, would Bond really have left that fucking camera? Like, would he really have, though? I feel like he wouldn't have left that camera there. Like,
yes, he
Hanks literally looks at the camera. He's like, "Oh, got him!" Like, I'm just like, I feel.
But
like
no. You're misinterpreting it because that footage doesn't help him in any way. He's just the reason he's looking at the camera. The reason he's looking at the camera is because he knows they're watching him, like who he's working for. He's like, he doesn't like directly salute them, but he looks up. Like he knows that they are seeing him because of the network and that they can cover everything.
You're right.
Because Bond doesn't know about that yet.
No, he doesn't.
And so there's no reason for him to worry about destroying it because the only person surveilling that was Mr. White. So he's fucked. But anyway.
Beautiful mountainside.
God, gorgeous.
Amazing. I love it. And Bond is meeting
Madeline.
Dr. Swan. Yeah, Madeline Swan.
Now.
And she starts questioning him.
So, Lea Seydoux plays Madeline Swan, and I actually really like her. I like her as an actress in general.
Bro. She's gorgeous.
Absolutely.
Like, yeah.
But
this is the first time I think I've seen her in anything, actually. Maybe.
Well, she was in Death Stranding, your favorite game.
Okay, relax.
But anyway.
She's so good looking, though. Like, I was like, damn, like...
Yeah, I've seen her in other stuff before.
She's got a dump truck.
Okay.
I'm sorry. There's like the one scene in the dress later on where she's walking.
She's a great actress.
Yeah, she is, but she's got a dump truck, bro.
And, you know, we get introduced to her here, and yes, she's like a psychotherapist, and he goes in under the guise of like being like an appointment there with her.
Yeah, and she's questioning him, and like it's funny because she's like, "How much alcohol do you consume?" He's like,
"Too much."
And then like he's like, "Oh, where did you grow up?" He's like, "Who cares?" Like he's just like he was avoiding the questions.
There's a point where he mentions a climbing accident with his parents, or she brings it up, or somehow it brings it up, and you're like.
And that, and I'm just like, at this point, I'm just like, okay. I'm like, Jesus Christ. I'm like, this is I'm like, I don't like where this is going.
And then Q shows up in the field, baby. This is his first time doing that in these movies.
Oh, wait. Swan denies Bond. She's like, I don't care if you can protect me. Get the fuck out of my office.
He also tells her that her dad is dead.
Yeah. But she's like, I don't care. Q finds Bond, and she tells me, hey, you need to come back. He's like, you need to come back. He's like, you're putting me in jeopardy. Blah, blah, blah. So Bond's like, I need you to do one more thing for me. Then he's like, I need you to look at
Check this ring.
And so Q's like, okay. He's like, where are you staying? And he tells him, he's like, good, be there in an hour. Like he basically gives him an hour to fucking
also
find his information.
He's like. One martini shaken not stirred or whatever, and like we don't serve alcohol. He's like, I really fucking hate this place.
Yeah. He's like, it's so fucking funny.
And Q is like, can we get one probiotic enzyme shake?
Yeah.
And then they give it to him, and he's like, just do me a favor, flush that in the toilet. Let's cut out the middleman.
Yeah.
Because I'm not drinking that.
But what is that he there's something that they say back and forth with each other because I love their relationship.
They're great.
It's nice.
Anyways, so he sees that she's being let off.
Oh my god, this is one of my favorite parts of the movie.
The best part of the movie. Honestly, I love this.
Okay, I'm pretty sure we're talking about the same thing, right? He notices that she's getting captured, so he hits the one guard, and then he hits one guard, and then he knocks out the other guard.
Knocks the breath out of the first guy, and then he beats the shit out of the other one.
Guy, right? And the guy is like, no, stay. And the guy's like, hey, all right.
Yeah, no. The guy like starts to get up. He's like, no, stay. Like a dog.
Yeah, and
the
guy's just like.
He's like, honestly, you know what? Now that you mention it, it would be a mistake.
Yeah, it's so good. This part, I literally laughed out loud for this part.
So good, man.
I was just like, I literally slapped my desk and laughed. I was like, this is good.
Everybody I think seems to agree that that's a great one. Bond in the plane. Bond.
Yep. And it's funny because they parallel the car chase with this because in the car chase, when he's on the phone and like he's Hanks pulls up next to him. He's like, hey.
Yeah.
And then Bond, now in a more badass way, pulls up literally next to him on the plane, and he's like...
Do a little salute.
Yeah, and then fucking Hanks pulls out his hand cannon, bro. Like, he shot that shot in the plane,
and Bond's like, oh, shit.
Boom! Bond's like, no. He's like, I gotta go. He's like, let me just back up.
He's like, oops.
Yeah, I fucking love that gun,
and it's cutting back and forth between this and Q's like, clearly somebody, one of them is there.
Dude. Q is 100% in danger. Like, you know.
But you see as well, as he's doing the ring, you can see, just in a split second, you see Lashif.
Yes.
Silva. You see them all lined up.
And
he reveals it like fully in a minute, but I actually do I'm okay with the concept that like, except for Silva. Silva is, I accept Silva, but it also seems a little bit like he doesn't seem like somebody that he would work for an organization.
No.
But it makes sense, I guess, that it seems like each one... They all worked for Spectre, and as they died, each one that ring went to the next person who filled their spot.
Yeah.
So I like that. It's cool.
Sense.
Their DNA is all in the ring. That's how he tracks them down.
And I actually like that. But the problem with that is there's a very big problem with that, and it ruins the ending. Like that whole thing, that whole twist of like it being James Bond's brother. I wish to set the camera, but it being like that's dumb. That does ruin like. That twist coming later on, it kills it. It kills it. To me, it kills it.
So, yeah. Let's wait a minute.
Let's not skip.
I'll get my full thoughts out in a minute.
I don't want to skip, but...
Bond, again, just like the opening scene with the helicopter, has no fucking regard for, like, what happens. He's just ramming into these cars. He doesn't know which car she's in.
Yeah.
He could just kill her by accident.
I think he does automatically assume he's with... Hanks. I think he automatically assumes that. He did look. No, he does. He does know because when he pulls up, he sees her.
Yeah, that's true.
So he knows which car it is.
Still, it's risky.
And then he plays his extreme fucking game with chicken. Jesus Christ, dude.
Yeah.
Like, one of them explodes.
Yep. This is, I think, maybe this is the best action sequence in the movie.
I think
aside from the intro.
Yeah.
I just love when he crashes through and the wings come off. And then he just careens right in and hits them all. It's great.
And then he fucking makes a crash and he saves her.
And it's very practical. You can tell a lot of it is very real.
It's so good. A lot of the scene, this chase was good. I like this chase.
And then he, doesn't make sure that Hanks is dead. Hanks gets back up. He's still going. He's still kicking.
And then we get Q. And Q goes to exit out of the little trolley thing he's on, and he gets blocked. But, lucky for him, a bunch of kids come in. And it's funny because even the villains are like,
God damn it.
Yeah, so they sit across from him, and the moment there's an opening, fucking Q takes off.
Yeah.
And it's not like a typical, like, oh my God, I'm going to run straight in a line. No, he runs. He obviously realizes they don't know exactly where he's at, so he takes a dip to the right and enters the room, and the guys just keep going.
He's good,
he loses them instantly.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't need to turn into a chase.
After the end of all of this, we get a hint, basically, where they talk about or you see on the news when they meet up at the room that there is an explosion in South Africa.
Yep.
And of course, if you're paying attention earlier, South Africa was the one vote that he needed.
Yep.
And so immediately, even if you still weren't sure about it, you're like, oh,
No,
he set this up. He blew them up so that they would vote for it. Like, obviously.
It has to
so it
be.
wasn't just a coincidence. There's no shot that's a coincidence.
And then, Q's like, I have to apologize. He's like, obviously you were right. Something's going on. He shows him the ring, and the girl's, Swan's like, oh, they're called Spectre. The organization's called Spectre. Blah blah blah. She gives him some of the information, and he's like, you need to go back to M. M's gonna need you.
This whole time,
you need to find
we forgot to say L'American because Mr. White said
that's why he's going to find Swan,
and they think it's a
person,
guy, but it's a
place.
Hotel.
Yes, it's a place.
So it's in Tangier and L'American Hotel.
Yeah.
And they're going in and they get drunk as fuck.
Yeah. Well, you come to find out that this actually has sentiment. Because this is where White literally comes to, like, this is where he would come every year with his wife and just leaves him.
Right, but so they reveal, like, they came here every year as, like, an anniversary thing. Yeah. But then you realize, she goes, he kept coming after.
Yeah. And
at first you're like, oh, that's really sad because he kept coming because she left him or whatever. Yeah, but then you realize, this whole time the whole anniversary thing was just a cover for him to go there and do some Spectre bullshit, which I like.
And it's funny because cool. Bond's like, yeah, well, I'm really sorry. And she's like, for what? And then, like, it cuts, and, like, the place is torn to shit.
Beat to shit, yeah. And he's beating down the thing, and he finds the bottle of alcohol, and they get drunk.
Yeah. She's already drunk.
Yes.
And it's funny because they have this little flirty back and forth, but it's so good because, like, it makes it seem like and she's like, don't come near me. I'll kill you. She's like, I'm serious. She's like, oh, I don't doubt it.
This is not the part where I fuck you.
Yeah. So he sits on a chair, and he falls asleep, and he wakes up, and there's a little mouse.
This is another great part. Yeah, I love this.
He pulls out his gun. He's like,
"Who sent you?"
He's like, "Who sent you?
Who are you working for?"
And then, and then the mouse goes into the hole, and he's like, "Huh." And so he goes and checks that area.
It's his delivery with it as well.
Yeah, I know. He does a really good job. Yeah.
Who are you working for? Just the way he says it.
So he takes the alcohol, he pours it in the front of the hole, and he realizes it like seeps down. So he's like, "Oh,
drains, yeah."
And he fucking blasts a hole through that wall, right? But in my head, I was like, "What if that wasn't the door? Like,
and what if you punched a stud, dude?
Yeah,
your arm is broken for the rest of the day." And
it's so funny because like he breaks it. And I was like, "Okay, whatever." I mean, I wish it wouldn't have worked out easily, but whatever. He gets in there.
So
and here,
Mr. White's secret room.
Yeah, here we get kind of a glimpse into the past of how far back this goes because you read about a Vesper Lind interrogation.
It's a videotape that he does not play, but it's labeled Vesper Lind interrogation.
And she's like, "Oh, what is it?" He's like, "Nothing," and he just kind of tosses it. But you
so I assume that's just they had video from when she was being interrogated while he was getting his meat beat.
Yeah, while he was getting his meat beating.
So, but yeah, that's
we also
cool.
get to see. Before this, we did skip over this a little bit. Swan has dad issues. She's like, "Oh, he's hurt me so many times." Blah blah blah. She doesn't. She's like, "I'll mourn for him when I'm ready." And,
fuck my dad.
Yeah, but then it's funny because she enters his room and she clearly could tell. Yeah, he was evil, but like he obviously cared about her. I mean, he has literally pictures like all over of her.
So anyway, they find like some shit. I don't know. I wasn't super paying attention. They figure out where the base is basically.
Yes,
and they go to the train to go there.
Yes. So before that, we have the scene where they're like, "Oh, I'm assuming it was unanimous," and he's like, "Yes, it was," and he's like, "Just so you know, I spoke to the secretary, whatever." He's like, and the double program shut down almost effective immediately. He's like, "You're a cocky little shit," blah blah blah. He's pissed about this, and now we go back to the train.
They're boarding the train, and
Swan, not Swan,
Bond gives her the gun,
and she's like, "I don't like guns," and he's like, and he's explaining to her how it works.
Point and shoot.
Yeah, he's like, and she's like, "That fucking shit." She like takes it apart,
and then she blows his brains out the Marines.
No, seriously, she's like, and she like shoots it. She's like, "I told you I don't like guns." Basically, he's like, "Oh, I don't need to teach you shit." She's like, "No." And
she says, she reveals she has this little thing where she's like, "Somebody came to my house when I was younger to try and do something."
Yeah.
And they didn't realize I had a gun and I killed them. Or she doesn't say she killed them, but she implies it. She implies it. And yeah, I like that little bit of backstory for her.
Yep.
And let's see. Oh, she talks to him about like what would happen like if you stopped, and he's like, I don't know what would happen if I stopped doing this. Like I don't even. She's basically like, is there an out for you? Like, is there a way that you'll be able to live without this?
Being a spy. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then Love Batista comes in, and everything drops out. No music, complete silence, just
Footsteps.
carnage.
No, you hear the footsteps for a
Well, I'm
second.
just talking about for the fight.
Oh,
Like,
for the
there's
fight.
no music
Oh,
the
for
whole
the
fight.
yeah.
It's just brutal.
Yeah,
just
it's
brutal
very
hits.
brutal. It's cool the way he notices him too. He like notices him just barely. Like it's a little too late, but he notices him coming on the reflection. He's like, "Fuck!" And like, dude, Batista like,
Yeah, that's
splits
the
that
weirdest thing
table,
though. Is
bro.
he has the element surprise, and his first thing to do is just flip the table.
Yeah,
Why?
Yeah, that's back to his WWE days, bro.
Yeah.
No, for real, he just flips his fucking
Yep.
table over.
So
he
Craig
hits,
is doing-
He hits. What's her name?
Yes, he does.
Yeah, he hits her.
Craig is doing almost all of this. Like, I'm pretty
is
sure
he?
the entire thing. Like,
Damn.
and with a broken leg. So,
Damn. Impressive.
Huge props.
He gets raped. I don't care. Dude, he gets absolutely wrecked.
and then we cut to the rape scene.
No, listen, bro. He almost puts up no fight in this. Like, bro, Hanks is absolutely.
He's doing okay.
He's not, bro. He literally
is.
at one point punches him, and he's just like, bitch.
Yeah.
Like Bond's almost doing nothing.
It's a great fight, though. This is a phenomenal
great.
fight.
It's an amazingly done fight. It's like there's not a bunch of cuts. It's really well done. It's good stunt work.
And I love
And then Bond's about to lose.
the way it works at the end, though, is, one of them gets kicked off, and you get that buildup of one by one. They start going ding, ding,
Yeah.
ding, ding.
Yeah.
But he's not attached to it yet. And then they get the rope around him, and then you see.
No. He doesn't get the rope around him. At this point, okay, so here's the thing, right? Bond's about to lose. He's about to get thrown off the train.
Yeah.
And so she starts shooting. She misses. She starts
Yeah.
shooting.
Well, she hits him once, I think, in
No,
the
I don't
shoulder.
think she hits him.
Once, but he just shrugs it off
Oh,
because he's
okay.
Hanks.
So whatever.
But she just said she could have killed him, but she just wings him and
no,
he's
she
like,
runs out of bullets because Bond had been shooting.
right. But I'm
yeah.
saying she didn't do any sort of fatal shot. She just hit him in the shoulder. I think it was.
And then he's distracted, and so Bond takes a rope, and that he starts choking him out, and
Yes.
then he almost gets him for a second, and then he overpowers Bond again, and he slams him down. So now they're fighting. And as they're fighting, the door gets opened. And no, the door was already open.
The door was already open because he was about to throw Bond down.
They kick one of the cans out on accident while they're fighting. Like literally,
Yes.
Bond's on the ground, he kicks it, and then it starts doing the one by one. But the rope's already around his neck, and so Bond starts.
No. Because I remember specifically, that's why I was so intrigued by it, is because they start the things falling before you ever notice the rope.
No.
They do.
Bro, I promise you. I'll go back and watch that scene right now.
I made a note of it.
No,
I have a note of
sorry,
it.
Mr. Perfect Notes. I'll go back and show you.
No, I have a note of it because I liked it so much that you know something's coming,
Bro,
but
I'll
it's
pause
not
that now.
around him yet.
Yeah, it is. It's already around his neck.
No, it's dude.
Bro,
You
I
think why would he
promise
leave
you.
the rope around his neck?
Because they were fighting and he stops. Well, I'm about to show you, bro. I have to show you. Anyway, so they're fighting. We just watched the scene real quick.
My point is that usually in a movie when you have something like that, they will put their foot in a thing and not realize it, and then they'll look down and go, oh, and then the thing will get knocked, and then they get pulled immediately. But they had this build up to it, and you're like,
Bond
wait.
actually had to finish it, because it wasn't.
Yeah, exactly, because you're like, wait, but he's not connected to it, so what's going to happen?
The rope was around the neck, and then Bond used the hook actually that he was attached to, and he smacks the shit out of him with it. Then he hits the other barrel because it didn't actually fall off, and that causes enough pressure for the next one to fall off, and he managed to get the hook on there.
Yeah.
It is still built up very well.
I love that. Anyways, so yeah, they fuck.
Yeah. She's like, it's funny because she's like, what's next? And then boom, they fuck.
Yes.
Yeah. To be fair, it's the rest of the train ride, whatever.
Yeah, so this one's acceptable.
Sure. Plus, she's fine as hell, so whatever.
So they arrive and get dropped off in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Before that, what happens is they cut back to M sitting at the table, and Q and Moneypenny come up to him, and they're like, "Oh, Bond's here, this desert," and Mallory's just like,
He's alone.
We
can't help him.
Honestly, he makes a good point.
Because if we help them, they're already surveilling us, so they'll know where he is.
And Mallory is 100% right on this. He's like, we're his weakness right now.
Yeah.
We can't do anything for him. He's on his own. He's like, delete everything. And they listen to him, and it kind of works.
Yeah, so anyway, they stop and they wait there for a long time. And I'm a little confused, well, they know where the place is.
Wait. We did skip over Batista's one and only line, bro.
Shit.
He literally goes, shit. And
Yeah.
Now. It's literally his only line almost throughout the movie.
I think
he
so.
says another line before. I just can't remember what it is.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I can't remember what it is, but he does have one line before that, and then this one's shit. And that's it.
So, yeah, they're waiting there, and I'm like, so you know where this place is precisely, and your whole plan is to go to the middle of nowhere with nothing and wait for them to pick you up and deliver them right to him.
Yeah, that plan is dumb.
Why don't you I don't know, get a plane, parachute in, do something where you can sneak in or.
This is where the movie for me does take a dip. This is where it takes.
They don't know at this point, I guess, either that they're being surveilled constantly, so there's no reason for them to be like, I don't know. Anyway, Rolls Royce pull up.
Yep.
And then this guy hops out.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, it's a Rolls Royce. They drive in, and this another very cool visual location. Like all the locations and everything in this, and this is like
nice.
a classic Bond villain base,
very
like
much so.
in the middle of an
nowhere.
asteroid crater. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, this is dope. Very cool design. So they had their personalized rooms with different pictures and stuff, which was interesting.
And then right there, you already know because
Well, yes, right.
You do
but still,
know
but still, at this point, though, you know. But I'm saying like that's still I like that concept that he like knows everything about them, so he's playing with their emotions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Fuck the brother thing or whatever. But like for her as well, he puts the picture of like
dad. Yeah, no, you're right. That's amazing.
He's fucking
it's
with
personalized room. Yeah, he is fucking with him. It's
That
funny because I do like this villain. He could have been more. He could have been so much more. Like fucking with him personally, like that's amazing.
Yeah.
Like even the torture scene, I fucking love that scene. Like it's fucked. It's so fucked, bro. But it doesn't matter.
Anyway, so they're going to meet with him and they offer him champagne and Bond's like, nah. And I feel like that's almost like a thing where like from Casino Royale when he got poisoned, he was like, I'm not doing that.
I'm not fucking with that.
Not again. No, never gonna happen again.
Yeah, so we have that again. Yeah, you have the picture. It's building up to be like Bond's brother. Then they go to the meteorite.
Right, they go there and it's completely dark, and they're like, "What is this?" And then complete silence, and he goes, "You can touch it."
Yeah.
And you're like, "What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?"
Yeah, but no, for real though, it's like,
"What are you talking about? Touch what?"
Yeah, he's like,
he's like, "Go ahead,
he's like, touch it if you want to." And it's just like, okay,
like, no, we're good.
Yeah.
And then this is the point where from here on out, he just kind of stops being interesting because he's there and he doesn't have any craziness about him. He's just very, and I kind of like that he's soft spoken, but it's like the build up for him in that one scene. Does not pay off here.
They hyped this up right to be something phenomenal, and then to have it be so when they reveal it, kind of kills it, and it does.
So here's there's a lot of problems with this, right? So firstly, he comes out and he says, everything that happened, all your women, everything, it was me. I was the one who caused all of your pain, right?
Okay,
awful.
Had they done
set it up in the previous movies?
Yes.
Yes.
Wow, it would have been amazing.
If there was any like, if there was it would be like a he would be like the Thanos of this. Like if they set him up in these little hints,
little by little here, it would have been so cool.
Imagine
right? It would have, right?
But
because
instead,
I like and I respect the concept. What I don't like is they kind of just threw it out there. They're
instead,
like,
it's just a retroactive thing. What do you call that? It's not retro. I mean, it's retroactive, but it's a not a rewrite.
Reboot?
No, something like where they retcon. Thank you.
Yes,
they just retconned him into everything.
Yes, and it's just like,
so it would have been cool. I think it still would have been okay if it hadn't been him. If it had just been Spectre in general.
Yes.
If it was just like everybody that you met was a part of Spectre,
and we were doing
would have been fine.
We all worked together along this.
Would have been fine.
Yeah, but he was just like, it was all me.
Not even necessarily
your brother.
Because it doesn't need to be that they worked together specifically to fight him. It just could be like you were fighting all these people. Little did you know they were all part of the same organization. Not that they were a part of the same organization.
Yeah.
And also they were out to get you specifically. And also it was because of me because I ordered them to do that.
Yeah. Oh, also we skipped over something important. Obviously, we knew C was going to be a bad guy. Max, we knew. But
I don't think he hasn't said that yet.
Yeah,
we're still talking about him revealing his plan. He hasn't.
No.
It's like seconds away. It's seconds away.
I have it on my notes because we skipped to where he's talking about, oh, it was me all along. But before that, he does say, oh, we were setting up for. Bond says something like, Bond, Bond's like, I get the picture. He's like, yes, you set it up so you can spy on everything.
And he's like, C is your guy or whatever. Yeah. And he's like, I figured it out.
He's like, yes. And then he's like, oh, it was me all along. Like, yeah.
It's also weird just like the way this whole last
literally
act
the
is like.
setup was they used the government to spy on the government. That's exactly what it is, bro.
This whole last act, though, is so weird. Like, I feel like it's even like directed more poorly and shot like everything about it because like they're just sitting and there's no like ta-da.
I still don't hate it.
There's no like ta-da, like there's no music build up. He just kind of says it and you're like, okay.
I know what they were going for. They were going for where it's like, okay, we've already showed it to you all along anyways, and now here it is.
That's the thing, though, right? In the build-up of this movie is so sinister. You're like, what is going on? You're like, this is going to be huge. Something major has been going on this whole time that he's about to find out.
Yeah.
And then it's this.
Nah. Yeah. So here's what I literally wrote. They tried to twist it into every other movie, and it's kind of just meh. Like, it's cool what they went for, but at the same time, it's really lame. Like, the build-up to it was lame.
Yeah.
Not the build up to it, but the reveal.
Everything about it was bad. The way they revealed it, the fact that was the reveal.
Yeah, and then.
Okay, so then he shows the video of Mr. White killing himself.
Yeah, and Bond's like, look away, like.
So this is very. I don't know exactly how I feel about the scene. I will say I think it's acceptable because it is very out of place for his character, the way he acts here. But at the same time, I think the reason it feels so out of place, especially, is because at this point you're supposed to have believed. You're supposed to be invested and be like, oh, these two are madly in love.
Yeah.
So much to the point where he's going to retire for her. But they haven't built that up enough. So then when he's like freaking out about it, you're like, what? You're like, you think it's just another one night stand at this point.
I'm going to interrupt right now because this scene really did piss me off. The scene where he's getting tortured and she's like, I love you. I was like, from fucking once? Like, I was like, bro, y'all have not known each other that long. I was like, this is not built up enough for you to be like, I love you kind of moment. It's not.
So the idea was supposed to be that they were connecting over time through like before they had sex, and then that would be like instead of just having sex and then they fall in love, that they fell in love before that. Except she just wouldn't admit it.
Yeah.
But they don't portray it well enough.
No.
So then when he goes, shut it off! Yeah. Shut it off! You're like, what the hell is he doing?
It's funny, right? Because to go back to that, right? The way they set that up where he's like, shut it off, right? Over the top. It's almost like you feel like, oh my God, they're trying to set up Bond as like he gave him the gun and she's going to be mad at him. And that's where I thought they were going with that. And that's why I was like, oh, it wasn't that. I was like, okay.
Because,
I literally, like, I remember just staring at that scene and being like,
there's a problem with that, right? Because we've seen the scene, so we know he doesn't give him the gun or he doesn't kill him. So then you're thinking, oh, maybe they doctored the footage to make it look like he shot him.
Yeah.
And then alternatively, which would have been much worse, she would have like thought, she would be like, oh, you gave him the gun. Even though that's obviously not what happened. Yeah. Maybe they would like twist it in some way. Nope. That would be shitty. But no, he's just, but that's the thing is like, if you were believing that they were so deeply in love and he cares deeply about her, then of course he'd be like, stop, don't fucking show her dad killing herself.
Yeah.
But at this point, looking back on it, it makes sense. But watching at the time, you're like, wait, isn't this just like another one night stand for him? Like you don't get it yet.
You don't get that yet.
You don't understand it yet. So you're like, what?
Yeah.
Anyway, but I love though, against movie tropes, like he's like, don't look at it, and she actually doesn't look. Yeah, she looks at him. He's like, look at me, and she actually does it.
I love that.
I love that. Yes. Great. She trusts him enough, and that's actually a good point of setup for how much they care about each other. She trusts him enough to be like, I'm gonna look at you instead of this.
So, anyways. And then I do like that they throw out there that it's not his full brother. Like, that's kind of like the setup they were kind of going for.
They're not brothers at all, right?
Yeah,
he was just like adopted.
He's just like, oh, my father accepted him into our family after he lost everybody. He's like, and then he told me, treat him like your brother. Like, what the fuck? Like, that's basically like the build-up, which is great. I was like, that's better. I was like, I'm glad I threw that out there because for him to try to set it up to be his brother, that was kind of stupid.
Yeah. So, brain drill.
Yeah.
And this is all right. This is cool.
I like this torture scene just because, again, he gets tortured. Like, it's not like a movie where it's like, oh my God, he's about to have a needle go through him. Holy shit, stop it. No, he fucking fools.
But here's the problem, right?
Yeah.
And we agree.
Ahead.
It's so stupid. If I put this drill into one part of your brain, you'll forget everything. He does it. Forgets nothing.
I could never forget you. Okay.
Hated that.
And before that, she says, I love you. And I'm just like, this is fucking bad.
Also, am I the only one who thought, like, Q sets up the watch, right? He's like, it sounds really loud. And I was like, it's some sort of EMP or like sound wave thing. Too. And so then, when the drill hits him the second time, I was like, why didn't you activate it and shut everything down? I was like, what the hell? But then I realized he would have blown himself up.
Yeah.
But at the time, you're like, why did he let it hit him?
It's funny, though, because at the time when he says it, you do think it's either some super loud, like thing, or
like an EMP or something.
But they're not wrong. Like,
I mean, it's loud, but it's not. No one says like this thing is. Okay. You don't like hold up C4 and go, this stuff is loud.
Yeah.
You go, you'd be like, it makes a big boom.
Still sets up. No, but it still sets up for it, right? Because he does say, hey, this is really loud, and then Bond's like, He's like, if you know what I mean, right?
No, Bond knows it immediately. Yeah, somehow.
No, he doesn't because like Bond's kind of like, Like,
no, Bond knows. No, Bond goes, I think I do know what you mean.
I think, yeah, he's like, I think
he knows.
Like, yeah, no.
But who
No, he doesn't. He doesn't because, no, he says it, right? Because then I remember Q, like, there's like a silence and Bond's kind of like looking at it. He's like, if you get what I mean. And then Bond's like, I think I get what you mean. Like, it takes him a second if you watch it because
right, regardless of how long it takes him,
it's not
no one is going to be like,
hey, this grenade is loud.
But nobody's going to be like, it's loud, if you know what I mean. And Bond's like, oh, it's a grenade.
Yeah,
Like,
no, it's true because I didn't realize.
No
it was
one's
explosive.
brain is jumping to that from
no,
loud.
You're right. It's not.
Anyway, but he's James Bond. He's a genius.
Yeah, whatever.
So he gives it to her, and he's like, "I said, time flies." She talks.
Yeah.
It's like a classic, like cheesy one-liner. I'm okay with it.
It is.
I like it.
I'm okay with it, but I don't like the chance to be like, "Hey, bitch, like throw that fucking watch." What are you doing? So
but I guess
tosses
she
it.
doesn't know what it is.
She
so
doesn't, yeah.
Fair
So
enough.
it's funny. He tosses it, or she tosses it, right? And then what's his name?
Blofeld. He reveals his name as
Blofeld. It's funny, right? Because he's like,
it's funny because for me, not having known that, I was like, oh, he has a different name.
Yeah,
I was like,
but it's not. He's
I
supposed to
didn't
be a
realize
villain.
that was supposed to be a huge thing.
But it's funny, right? Because he throws the watch, right? And Blofeld's just like, the fuck are they throwing a watch for? And then boom, it blows up. Like Blofeld literally has no reaction to it. He's just like,
And I don't know about you, but I was like, I thought he was dead, especially after seeing the explosion.
I didn't think he was
because
dead.
then you think, okay, now the final act is he's just going to have to wrap up C.
Yes,
not that Blofeld's going to come back.
I don't know if you noticed,
but it's also because I didn't know that he was a big villain. So
No.
I
It's
thought
not
he was
even
just
that
dead.
for me. No. Okay, so hold on. Where is it? Sorry, hold on. I hated this escape scene.
Why?
Hold on. So it's a watch bomb. It's a clever way to escape. And I know it's movie magic, but I hate when he's running because why does everybody in this movie have Stormtrooper aim at this point? Everybody, bro.
Dude.
I understand that he's supposed to be
Disagree,
Bond,
actually.
Supposed to get
Hard
away.
disagree. I
Really?
love that aspect of all these movies because, especially in the new one as well, I
I
noticed
don't like
it
him
a
in
lot.
this one. There's too many guys for them to miss. Literally, they're all shooting him, and it's like 7 guys. And
Right,
one's
but
taking out a bullet.
that's the thing is like in every movie, except for Skyfall, he gets shot in the bullet or whatever, but he always just stands there. And it's like most people would be like, "Oh, move, Doug, try and dive behind cover." But
Yeah,
he just
doesn't
he's
do
just
that.
like, "Well, if I'm gonna get shot, I'm gonna
because
get shot."
he realizes that most people under pressure are going to miss, and I do get that.
Sure, but it's also just like he's just like, "Fuck it. If I get shot, then it's meant to be."
But he fucking.
He's like, me diving is not going to stop this, so I may as well just calmly walk through it.
But
You
yeah,
know what
he
I mean?
does, and that's exactly why his aim is so good because he tries to remain calm through the whole thing.
Exactly.
I get that, but dude,
But it's also it's a nice change of pace from other movies in that it's over the top and unbelievable. But I like that it's over the top and unbelievable. That anytime he's in a shootout, he just doesn't care.
gone, yeah.
And he never gets hit.
So
pretty
here's the
much.
reason I knew the guy survived. That had nothing to do with him being a villain. I literally even wrote right here vehicles they're escaping in the distance as he's flying away in a helicopter. There's like 3 vehicles that pull out. So I was assuming either it was Blofeld.
But at the time,
or...
but before that though, I'm saying at the time,
Oh yeah,
I thought
he
it got
was
blown
dead.
up.
Yeah, for sure. Until I saw the vehicles escaping.
Exactly. So then we get
Bond and
the explosion,
oh yeah, boom, like that fucking.
which is real.
Oh,
It's
really?
a practical explosion,
it
and it
miniature?
is to this day. What?
Sorry, I thought you were saying it was a miniature, but go ahead.
No, it's real. And to this day, as far as I'm aware, it is the biggest practical explosion in movie history ever.
Oh shit.
Yeah, they
Nice.
made history with it. I'm like, Jesus. And I was like, it's beautiful. Like it's
a good explosion.
It's a gorgeous explosion.
explosion.
They actually stood there and it blew up behind them. I'm like, jeez, that's
damn, that's a
yeah,
risk.
you only get one. Yeah, you only get that's
a
one of
risk.
those where
One
you only
take,
get
one
one
take.
shot. Yeah. Anyways,
So then you get to M and he's like running. He's
And
like not
I-
running, but him and whatever.
They're
going
going
to this building and he's like,
this
oh,
safe
it's one
house.
of a safe house. And so it's cool. I actually like the scene. I don't think you liked it maybe, but I like the scene
No.
because he walks into it and they're going up the ladders. I mean, they're supposed to be being watched. But then he's like, is it a safe house? And he goes and he's like, yeah, it's a safe house. And
yeah.
like,
Well, no, I'm fine with this. I wrote, this is not how this movie should be ending.
no, it's not.
It should have ended with it should have ended at that base. We don't need fucking C, and we don't need Blofeld to come. Also, how the fuck they both immediately went back there? So how did Blofeld get there hella ahead of them in time to set up this elaborate scheme?
Plan, yeah.
What
to
the
be
hell?
fair, yeah, I mean, he was escaping in the cars, but like he would have had to have a plane somewhere.
Right, but they both started flying. Look, how much? What he got there like maybe 30 minutes to
We
an hour
assume-
before them,
we
and he set up
assume
this
they didn't get
elaborate,
away.
extensive explosion trap where he
Yeah.
spray paints walls, puts up pictures.
Yeah.
No way.
No.
Shot, dude.
Well, see, here's the thing, right? We're made to assume time has passed. There's definitely at
they
least
went
a day.
straight back.
No. So at least it's been a day Because last you knew they were gonna have like a meeting for that midnight thing.
It has been time, but that's because it takes a long time for that flight. But they still both have to fly there.
Yeah. No, I get
So
that.
he didn't teleport there and set it up.
But he didn't just fly, boom, 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 boom. We didn't get everything, right? He told them, hey, we're going to meet here. And then he waited for the meeting time.
Still not long enough.
I don't know, maybe. Because they definitely were
It's too elaborate
and
for
Bond's
that to
in
have
different
happened
clothes.
that quick.
Bond is in different clothes.
Yes, because they
He's
were on a
cleaned up.
plane.
He doesn't have the cuts or anything.
Right.
Like, he's cleaned up.
That's what I'm
He
saying.
doesn't have cuts.
I'm pretty sure. I remember I checked it. From where they were to where they go to London, it's a long ass flight. Like a long,
I'm
long
sure it
flight.
is.
So they had plenty of time to clean up. But I'm just saying, like, regardless, it just felt a little bit like, how the fuck?
Yeah,
He's
he
already
just set up a
behind
lot.
this.
He
He
just
has
set up, like, a
everything.
big trap. You're right.
It's a little too much. But
He
yeah.
feels M on everything. Mm-hmm.
So the squad, the Bond squad's got to go and stop C, and Bond is going to go and.
They're about to leave, and then Madeline says, I can't do this. And Bond's like, shit.
Yeah, this was terrible, by the way.
It was terrible.
No way she spent this whole time, and then she's like,
being like,
I can't do
"Deuces."
this lifestyle. I can't
Yeah.
do this.
But she's leaving, and
And it's supposed to be a huge thing, too, because you're supposed to be believing that they're, like, madly in love, and then she's just like, sorry. And he's like, okay.
Yeah, like, no, terrible.
It's crazy. They really dropped the ball on that. I think that should have been one of the strongest parts of the movie.
It should have. But Madeline gets a feeling she's being followed, but you don't see anybody, and then so Bond and M are obviously being followed in the car as well.
And they get shit on.
And they get shit on, bro.
Bond
like,
gets
hard,
taken.
And Bond gets taken. And it's funny, right? Because I wrote, Bond gets taken, Mallory gets away, so does his other teammates, right?
Yes.
And I literally wrote, right? At this very moment, as this is happening, I always write my notes. I literally wrote, I love that Bond's being captured and he's going to have to count on his team, right? That's literally what I wrote, right?
Right.
And then immediately after I wrote, never mind. Because he was part of the plan. Like, he literally beats the shit out of the two guys that captured him.
No, it wasn't the plan. No, not at all. He got captured. He just beat the shit out of him.
Okay, maybe.
Because he wasn't planning on going to that old building. They didn't even know anything was going on there. Their whole objective was to go to the main building and stop C.
Yeah.
They didn't even know Blofeld was still alive.
True,
so
true.
he had no reason to go there. He just happened.
But
and then
even then-
he sees the thing, says James Bond. He's like, oh, and then he goes in to investigate.
Yeah.
So,
it's the old
but
MI6
either way,
building.
he shits on those guys
Yeah.
so hard.
It's the old MI6 building.
Yes,
and
back
Bond's
at it
being
again.
led by arrows.
Yep.
Q and M have Max basically where they want him. They're just like, what the fuck is your problem, dude? And Q's like, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and break this. The pacing of this whole scene sucks.
The pacing of this whole final part sucks because you get to the base and you're like, this is the climax, and then you have like 45 minutes left of bullshit that no one wants to. I was literally like, I want to turn this off. I didn't want to watch it.
I didn't want to watch it.
I was
watching
killing
it,
me,
and
dude.
I was into it. I was interested to see where the buildup was gonna be.
Because there is no other twist. There's nothing else to be. It's just bullshit action that I don't care about.
So then we have Bond is being played as he's going through this house of horrors, is what I put it as, which is
terrible.
cool. No, it's a cool setup because it's making you think like they're fucking with him. But then he turns the corner and he, with no hesitation, pulls the trigger on Blofeld, right?
Right.
But Blofeld's behind his bulletproof glass, and then Blofeld turns.
You got the scar, classic scar.
And he's got the scar.
Cool.
And then I was like, oh, I did like the makeup. I like the makeup. It looks good. It looks very cool.
Cool.
And mistakenly,
But it's such a missed opportunity with him,
Am I
though.
mistaken though? Or where Blofeld was at? Never mind. Doesn't matter.
Anyway, they just didn't do enough with him. Like, even now with the scar, like, he doesn't become... There's nothing different about him. He's just the same guy, and he's just like, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah, and then Blofeld, he gets the final classic
there was a
Bond.
chance there for him to have...
a classic Bond look.
There was a chance there for him to have, become like this. Like, have outbursts of rage or something, and see something different about his character, but he's just Blofeld.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, he's got the scar, and, he's like, you can either save her... or get out before the building explodes.
Yep, she has 3 minutes. He's like, you can spend 3 minutes trying to find her and get killed.
Or you can find her and also get out.
You ready? This is like my least favorite part, right? Because Bond's looking for her everywhere and blah, blah, blah. He gets to the top and he's at that broken part. And it's just like he's yelling for her, he can't find her and blah, blah, blah. And then he's staring at fucking Blofeld and he's like, you fucker. And then all of a sudden you get,
Yes.
oh God, I need help. And it's just like, are you fucking kidding me, bro? Well, you couldn't have been screaming like fucking 5 minutes ago, bro. And also, what did she hit?
I was about to say, biggest problem, it sounds like she's banging on the door.
Right?
But she's tied up.
She's tied up in a chair. Exactly. And that's what I mean. I was like, this is
Yeah.
fucking terrible.
Yeah. What I do appreciate though is the way they escape jumping into the net because they set up the net.
Yes,
they set up the net at the time.
He
So I
looks
like
up.
that.
There's at one point where he looks up and he sees, and it's funny because at first you think it's like a grate or something. You can't tell it's a net.
No, I noticed.
I couldn't tell. I
thought it was
like
quick.
Like
it was quick, but
yeah.
I just happened to catch it.
Yeah.
It would be easy to miss though, for sure.
So then it's funny because he's like, "Do you trust me?" And she's like, "Do I really have a choice?" And he jumps down, and that's cool. I do appreciate this.
I appreciate the setup and payoff.
Yes,
but
and then the building blows up after Max dies in his own.
He's
tower
like, you know what?
From falling down that ramp.
Oh, dude, and then the classic. M stands for moron. He's like, well, I guess we know what C stands for.
Yeah, and he's like careless.
And
I was like,
oh god,
literally, no, not really.
Everybody on Earth, and I watched videos after this to be sure. Everybody talks about it, and I was not the only one to think this. Cunt. Everybody was like, he means cunt. He's implying cunt.
Cunt or cock.
No, cunt.
Yeah,
it would have been cunt because it's such a
two.
British thing to say.
Yeah,
cunt.
it is, right? And then he's like careless, and he literally, I was just like,
right. Just leave it, and just have him say that. Just have it say, well, I guess we know what C stands for, and don't say anything else.
Right?
Yeah, and leave it to your imagination.
In my head, I was like, oh, he's gonna call him a cunt. He's gonna call him a cock. It's gonna.
Well,
be
you can't call him. We knew he couldn't say it, but
yeah.
it would have been implied.
Yeah, right.
And that would have been great.
Right. Nope. And he's like
careless,
and I was like
careless.
Like, what the fuck was that?
Anyway, yeah. He dies.
And then he dies.
I love Andrew Scott, but his character was horribly written here. It's not his fault.
No. He gets thrown off a building. He dies in his own tower, which is beautiful. It's the irony in that is amazing. He's like, oh, this is the safest building, and then he dies in it. Whatever. It's ironic.
Bond and Madeline are in the boat, and he's just taking pot shots at the helicopter.
I do like this actually because
cool.
It's believable, right? He's aiming for a certain spot. You can tell because his bullets are grouping in the same little area, right?
Yeah, he's trying.
It's
to
funny because I wrote, "If at first you don't
fuselage,
succeed, try until you hit that shit." But like he literally keeps going, and finally he manages to hit where he's trying to hit.
Yeah.
But the shit crashes, right?
Yeah.
And whatever.
Blofeld crawls out,
fucked but not dead. He's crawling. So you didn't like this ending, but I love this scene specifically, right? He goes to shoot Blofeld, whatever, and there's no bullets. Oh, no bullets, whatever, right? But I love this setup because he's sitting in the middle of the bridge with his two choices at each end of the bridge. Mm-hmm. And I love that setup. That setup's awesome. It's like, does he go back to work and continue to be an agent and leaves her? Or does he go to her, live a semi-normal life, then leave his work behind? That was an amazing setup, and he chooses her. Mm. He chooses her. He throws out the gun, and it's implied he's going to her.
But also, I absolutely fucking hate that he's got him ready to kill him, and then Blofeld says, finish it, and you're like, oh, he's not killing him. Yeah, anytime a villain says, kill me, you know they're not going to kill him. And I was like, damn it, that ruined it.
And then Bond's like, well, I'm out of bullets, so...
Yeah.
Which he kind of sort of was. I mean, he
would have killed him. If he wanted to kill him, though, he would have just fucking throttled him right there on the bridge. Anyway, yeah.
And then you have Q, he's sitting against the computer, and then Bond comes in his fucking sexy-ass suit, and he's like, Bond, what are you doing here? He's like, oh, I came for one thing, and then it's the car.
And retired Bond, and that's it. And, it's like, if they weren't going to make another one, it would be acceptable. I mean, it's okay I wish it would have been a better,
set up for the love of life.
Better, more to be like, okay, good, I'm happy for him. Instead, you're like, what? Do they care about each other that much? What? But anyway, so, I mean, obviously, this isn't a spoiler, and you've seen the trailer, No Time to Die, continues there, she's in it.
Yeah.
So it does, there is a flow through with that, so at least, you get more.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I'm not mad, and I think, actually... No Time to Die retrospectively makes this movie a little bit better.
Okay, good.
The third act.
Again,
specifically
it's by no means is a bad movie. It really is not. It's not this amazing movie. Okay, it's not.
On a technical level, it's
good.
All across the board, executed phenomenally.
But
score, actually, the score as well. Like when they first sleep together, beautiful.
Yeah.
That
score. Everything about this movie, is a good movie, right? It's good. It's a good movie. It is.
Except for the story in the third act.
It's a solidly safe movie. You can go and you're gonna get good action. It's good.
You're gonna get okay. It's not mind blowing.
It's not mind blowing action. But it's good action. There's some good
aside from
scenes.
Quantum of Solace, it's the worst action of the series.
It is, but it's still decent action. It's enough to where it keeps you entertained. That car chase, though, my condolences to anybody who has to watch that shit. But it's good. I like it.
It's okay. You should watch it for sure. It's good.
I
Especially
to
keep
back
the.
And be like, I'm watching this again. Skyfall, I could watch again.
You should definitely see it to keep the through line of all the movies for sure, and also I think it's good enough to make it worth watching, especially
as a
I don't know why
Bond.
we're saying this now. If you watch this and you haven't seen the movie, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Or listen to it, I guess.
Yeah.
You're weird. You're a weirdo and leave. Actually,
Unsubscribe.
Yeah, actually,
unsubscribe.
subscribe so we can see your name and block you. Please.
But anyways, yeah. So
Okay.
Yeah. I'd say it's like a nice
It's all right.
It's an alright movie. So
Very, very, very much looking forward to talking about No Time to Die.
yes, I'm gonna watch it
Look forward
as
to
soon as
that,
possible.
everybody, because it's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be fun.
Thank you for tuning in.
Might be a dog shit movie though. Who might I say?
Yeah, it's true.
I'm not gonna say either way, but I'm looking forward to talk about it.
I mean, I can't wait to go watch it. But anyways, yes. So
So yeah,
thanks
thanks for tuning in, and
we'll see you guys next time.